order the meeting. Okay, I call to order the meeting today, December 1st at 7:01 p.m. Roll call. Bill, Jed.
Right.
Alright.
It's okay. Not in here.
Joe, and I'm Greg with
Greg.
BHB in front of the first one, Joe. Bridge, cool. Did anybody see anything or need any changes for the last meeting's minutes?
I think you could see Bill, right, this, your secretary, yeah, so.
Sure.
I don't know if we have to formally say anything like that.
Did we need a motion for that?
Yeah,
I wanna see
I'm
you.
pretty sure I remember George doing that.
What's that?
Oh, no, you just see me.
Yeah, I think
You just see, just say,
As an
Bill,
alternate.
I'm gonna see you from the, as
Yes, sir. As the alternate, okay. So from here on out, we're gonna see Bill as the alternate. Right, correct?
well, that's what I am, yeah, so.
Yes.
Anytime I come to a meeting, if you want to seat me,
Oh, so you're seated as a regular member
then you have to seat me as a commissioner.
then? Okay, all right, so we're gonna seat Bill tonight as a regular commission member.
Okay,
Okay, no public comment. Old business, business. Okay, moving on to new business, permit application IWWC 25-15, Jim Delano. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I'll motion to approve the meeting minutes from the October 6th, regular meeting.
I'll second. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
I'll abstain. Marina.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. To permit application IWWC 25-15, Jim Delano at Long Hill Road, replacement of an existing Long Hill Road bridge over the Hot River.
Yeah, presentation. Do that, so we did last time. Should be able to plug this in there.
Yeah, should be able to, if this hopefully is an open port.
Do you need me to share something?
You could, all that materials are posted on the town website, so if you wanted to go on there,
Yeah, we can do it that way. I have used to set up PowerPoint.
is it not? This is not on the drive.
It's on here. It doesn't seem like this. I don't know. If
It worked last time, right?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
No,
Second time, Sharon.
it's just not ready to come back and break.
Yeah. I can cheat, yes.
I put the computer back to co-host, so you should be able to hit share and it'll get recorded into the meeting from that computer.
Okay, I need to do something to share this, is that,
You might have to go out with the presentation.
Yeah, I gotta get back into Zoom, minimize it or
Yeah,
something.
into the Zoom.
okay, and then, okay, share.
Yep.
It's gonna be. Thanks.
There we go.
Right. But get my notes. Alright, so. Stuff, did we present to the, does it matter to the screen or to you guys?
I don't,
Us.
is anybody on other than?
I don't think anyone's on.
Alright, well, this is, I'm Greg Garris with VHB, with the consultant liaison engineer for the town of Andover, so it's a town of Andover project. To replace Bridge 4582, which is Long Hill Road over Hot River. The project is administered by Connecticut DOT and is receiving federal funding. to complete the project. Because of that, there's been a lot of coordination to this point with the regulating agencies, so DEEP, Army Corps, DOT, Office of Environmental Planning, and we're very far along in this. This is where the really design is done. And the project actually was advertised, I think, last week, so it's out to bid. So the selection process for a contractor has commenced at this point. All right, so location, bringing here, but I'm sure you're all aware, Long Hill Road is pretty much across the street from here. It's 550. The bridge site is 550 feet north of the intersection with Route 6. And the ball fields are on the northwest side of the bridge. It's an aerial view, basically discussing the same thing. Got the town fields in the northwest, the public works building on the southwest, and then further down south towards the intersection is the library and the First Congregational Church, which will not be affected by the project. So the purpose of me is that the bridge is in poor condition, so it's deteriorating, and so it has some structural deficiencies and need to be corrected, as well as it's scour critical. There was a 1999 scour analysis done that determined that it had a high vulnerability to scour. Part of that's because the abutments are set in the channel, which you can see here and some other photos we'll look at. So the proposed project will put this in the bridge in a state of good repair, meeting current load rating and highway design standards.
What does scour mean?
So scour is like erosive forces, so and bridge scour is specific to undermining of the foundations, basically, so.
Yeah.
So it's originally built in 1934. It's a concrete superstructure, so that's the superstructure is the top that sits on the concrete abutments that are outside, and the wing walls all support the top of the bridge. So it's, near 100 years old, and that's, the full life of a bridge. So 43, the structure is currently 43 feet, the clear span, which is the opening between the abutments. So between those vertical walls is 40 feet currently, so that's a clear span over the channel. And 30-foot curb to curb, basically, the distance between the curbs is 30 feet currently, and 28 feet, so a little less on the approach roadways. And the average amount of traffic that's seen on the bridge per day is 400 vehicles. The drainage area is 53 square miles, so it's some decent flow going through this bridge. All right, so a couple of pictures. So look at the bridge, looking downstream. All right, this is the downstream elevation, so we're looking upstream. And you can see it there. It's just, it looks different than on the presentation, but it's a little grainy. So here's the upstream elevation, so we're looking downstream, so looking east. And you can see the large riprap that would be put in place to control erosion of the embankments and protect the foundation currently. So there's scour, they're protecting it from scours. What those current riprap is doing, and as you can see, the bridge is a constriction in the channel. What you'll see is that the proposed structure will sit back so that the full channel width the natural channel width can flow through.
Pipe or a tree in the picture.
It is, I think it's a drainage pipe. From the. Yeah, I think that is a drainage pipe, it could be a tree. It's tough to tell from the.
Yeah.
And maybe a dry hydrant. There's gonna be a dry hydrant installed on the downstream side on the proposed bridge. But I'm not sure it's not a major drainage item. So this is standing on the bridge looking upstream with public works on the left and the ball fields on the right. This is looking downstream, You can see there's actually, you can see there's a couple scour holes here just from, say, most was probably attributed to recent storms in 2021. We had a couple of those, we had a hurricane and it's like Elsa. There's a couple storms that came through that certainly affected the bridge downstream as well. This bridge had overtopping the roadway low point, which is basically where the entrance to the fields are, almost up to the bridge. So it didn't quite reach the bridge surface. But there's, scour in the foreground and then pretty good scour hole over to the right, just from erosive forces. And see the flow moving the rocks in the stream bed around. This is looking west across the bridge with the fields, the entrance to the fields on the right. So this is basically standing at a low point where the road would overtop first from flooding and see Route 6 intersection. There's no current sidewalk. Well, it's a sidewalk that comes down Long Hill Road from the intersection and terminates at the public works driveway. And this is looking the other direction, so looking north. I think it was south previously, so this is north. Upstream to the left, downstream to the right, and you can see the concrete balustrade that acts as a guide rail currently over the bridge. So that'll be open bridge rail for current highway standards. So the bridge, the project site is within a FEMA flood zone, A5 with established base flood elevations and FEMA floodway as well. This is the proposed site plan. The highlighted regulatory lines are in blue, ordinary high water. Green is the delineated wetlands that were delineated by a qualified soil scientist. So those are all on the south side. There's minimal impacts on the southwest side. We get a slide that actually shows the impacts, and then the red is the 100-year base flood, 100-year flood, existing FEMA flood elevation. And notice on the right side that it's off of the page because that's the low point is, you can see the pipe that crosses where there's the two, there's basically a small drainage channel that comes out where the two wetland lines are, the green. So the 100-year flood line is just off the page on the right side, and then the yellow are the floodway lines. So when you get flooding, this flooding will actually come across the ball fields first and overtop it on this right side. See that there's a sidewalk, so there'll be a sidewalk extended from Public Works down to access the park. And the bridge will be 80 feet, an 80-foot clear span, so versus the 40 that's existing, so we're doubling the width to increase that channel width and allow, you'll see new embankments that match upstream and downstream, get that natural character of the river channel, and there's going to be some riprap and top of the stream bed on both sides to protect the new structure from scour. Here's a cross section just showing that it's going to be a little wider across the bridge, so 40 feet, it's 35 feet currently, and got 5.5 foot sidewalk on the west side, shoulders, and 11-foot lengths to meet current highway standards. So this is the proposed elevation. The orange is the structure itself, and the blue is the water surface to the existing ground. So the existing ground between the toll boulders, which are the big circles, won't be disturbed. So the dashed horizontal or vertical lines basically behind the big toll boulders is where the existing abutment bases are. So that's how much wider it's going to be to open this up and more flood flow through, which will improve flooding, decrease scour, looking at about a foot decrease in water surface elevation for the 100-year design storm upstream. So the blue line is the ordinary high water elevation, that's 294.5, it's about a 2-year storm elevation. The 100-year will flow through the bridge. May get the bottom core wet on one side, but it will not be under pressure flow, which is a much of an improvement over the existing conditions where the 50-year is under pressure flow and the 25 and 50-year currently over top, and that's the 100-year now will overtop the roadway low point. It'll be posted for flooding, so you'll see signs out there if they're not already out there, but they'll be added just to let people know that if there's a serious storm, that there is inundation possible of the roadway.
So
a
with
great
the new
increase.
design, so expect can't see.
Yeah, and it's that the roadway is much lower than the bridge, you know, there's a pretty good hill coming down, so
Yeah.
it's really hard to design these local roads were not built to highway standards, so we get a lot of this in Bunker Hill's the same way, where it's much lower beyond the bridge, and that would overtop as well. But, you know, much, you know, greater improvements, much improved hydraulics and scour. And this will be fully protected, there's large riprap gonna be placed in those toe boulders. Kind of hold those in place and they're set to the scour elevation, so the new abutments won't be undermined.
Is there gonna be a change in water velocity? Because it's gonna be shaped a little differently.
The velocity will increase a little bit, it's in the vicinity of the bridge. When you lower the water surface elevation and increase the hydraulic opening, the water is able to flow through easier, so you get a little more velocity, but if there was no bridge here, the way that the channel was formed naturally, it would be quite a bit faster, so the natural, we typically try to get as close to the natural conditions as we can. This was about as good as we could do here, so, you know, really opening it up, and we're not expecting, you know, there's gonna be riprap protecting the embankments in the vicinity of the bridge, so all the new embankments will be protected, and it's not anticipated that upstream and downstream that the velocities will have any measurable effect on the stream bed or the embankments. And the more frequent storms, your 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, there's really not much difference. So it's once you get to the higher storms that were previously blocked by the bridge face are now able to flow through. So that's where you see a little increase. So we designed the bridges to meet Army Corps and deep best management practices guidance. We've had several conversations. We went to an interagency meeting last year. Yeah, I think it was maybe January. So it's been almost a year since we went to an interagency coordination meeting, met with Deep Fisheries, Army Corps, deep permitting, and we've incorporated all their guidance and recommendations to this point. So everything you see in the plans has been basically approved by them at this point. Deep Fisheries has signed off, which I believe was in the application package with the permit plan stamped by Deep Fisheries. It meets 1.2 times bank full width, which is so you want to be 20% wider than the bank full width. The bank full width is 55 feet, so we got quite a bit greater than that. You know, that's what, about 65, 68 feet. So we went to 80 feet to give us some extra room and get 2 wildlife shelves in for safe passage of wildlife, hooked animals underneath the bridge. It also doubles as an inspection shelf for inspectors to get to the other side of the bridge.
What type of wildlife is it designed to cross?
So it allows the banks to continue underneath, so basically any critters that are walking, you know, raccoons, possums, deer will fit under there, and smaller can cross underneath. So therefore to keep them off the road.
Yeah. Nimble fisherman.
The tow boulders are something that Deep likes to see because it also encourages, you know, the fisheries habitat, add some rocks, stuff from the high pines and allows them to rest as they go upstream. Alright, so you can't see the top here, so this is a water handling plan, this stage one, so. Traffic will be detoured around the site, similar to Bunker Hill, so. The road will be closed, detoured, and there'll be 2 stages of water handling. There'll be water handling coffer dams placed in front of each abutment. This is stage 1, so the south abutment. Will be removed first, and that'll be tied into the water handling coffer dam, will be tied into the sediment erosion control. So that everything, all the work will be completed behind confinement. It'll be dewatered through a dewatering basin, which is that black square, approximate location, the contractor, and, not allow sediment to enter the water course and increase turbidity. So while water handling is in place, the existing abutments will be removed. The new abutments, so substructure will be installed, as well as the new embankments and those wildlife shelves, riprap and native streambed material will top the embankments up to the wildlife shelves. And this black line down here is a dry hydrant, so that is the either it's the new, I don't know if it's new location, if that was a dry hydrant on the other side, but the town asked for a dry hydrant to be installed on this side. The 30-foot minimum channel opening is a deep requirement. It's not necessarily 34 feet, but that's what this was designed for. The channel opening minimum is to allow fisheries passage and some flow through, while part of the channel is closed off. So stage 2, basically the same thing on the other side. The north side will be removed, the new embankment and channel on the left side will be used, as well as the opening that was untouched through the center of the channel as for flow while construction is going on. And same thing, the north abutment will be removed behind water handling, and the new embankments will be installed.
Can you go back one slide? I thought I understood what you were talking about, and then this picture, I got confused. Okay, so. On the left-hand side of that is where we have barriered the water off so that we can put in the new wing wall.
Yeah, basically the substructure, the foundation, those.
Okay, so we're not doing anything over on the right-hand side yet, but,
Right.
okay. Now you go to the next picture.
So
I guess,
everything that's on the left side is now been completed. So that's what it's showing, is that's.
yeah, so is water going through on that side now, or?
Yes, so the circles are all, so this is the jagged. Is the water handling, the jagged line, these are toe boulders that are being installed at the toe of the embankment. So that's not water handling, they'll be, not flush with the stream bed, but close to the stream bed level.
So the top right of that image that you're comparing is the ball fields, essentially kind of that area.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, some of the lines look strange, but those are property lines. So as you can see, like the town right of way line that's dashed, and then it's the property for ball fields. The ball field recreational property actually starts in the middle of the stream. But the blue line is ordinary high water, and that is also where the existing abutment faces are. So the ordinary high water line runs along the existing abutment faces. So you can see that these are the new substructures, so those are installed quite a ways back from the existing. And so there's necessary impacts to the wetlands and water course. They're really unavoidable for this type of work and, you know, do our best to minimize. And, you know, there's 713 square feet of temporary impacts to the water course. The pink is the temporary water course impacts. And so it looks greater across the top, and that's for the potential, so there's a utility relocation. Which I think is the overhead lines, so they're gonna get moved back. And there's potential, basically that area allows for the potential of work in the water course for the contractor to do the work. Typically with overhead lines, they don't need to get in to they just move the poles and move the lines without getting in the stream, but that's just to give them that opportunity if it's needed to get in the stream. So you've got a couple on the bottom as well, and those are due to the temporary water handling outside of where the brown permanent impacts are, which are for removal of the existing structure and then placing the tow boulders are at basically where the existing abutment face is. So that's where your ordinary water line is behind that. You'll have riprap installation, which is right on the edge of impacting the current water course. And then wetland impacts, there's no temporary impacts, and it's that little yellow pocket in the bottom left corner was unavoidable due to the installation of the riprap and embankments, 13 square feet of wetlands. But there's also 1,000 square feet of water course created by widening the bridge. So the give and take here. So the total impact is 1,559 square feet, and the Andover upland impacts, which are measured 200 feet from ordinary high water, for area of special concern, is 16,200 square feet. It's basically the whole site that's beyond the water course. So that includes roadway reconstruction, sidewalk, and the bridge itself over the top of the waterway, and the embankment construction. So floodplain impacts, there's a net excavation of 750 cubic yards. So that's basically all due to widening of the structure. So that fill from, you know, between where the existing structure is and the proposed structure will all be removed, and that's the difference between the cut and fill.
Does it have to be tested before it's hauled off site?
That is a current, it's kind of been updated where all of that is now starting to get tested. Typically, it's something they do from soils and historical knowledge of soils on the site, but early on, there's work done by DOT's environmental agency. They determine whether or not there's dirty dirt or not, and but there's been testing done, and it's been determined whether or not it can be reused. As far as I know, this is all reusable.
Is there a plan for where it would be reused?
So any excavated, so there's a net X, so there will be some that is excavated and then brought back in. The stockpile area is determined by the contractor. If there's not an area on site to do it, then they'll typically will coordinate with the town. With Public Works having an area right there, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it goes temporarily, because that's pretty quick for them to get in and out, and maybe a part of the ball field parking. They try to be as close as they can. So sediment erosion control, because it's administered by the state, the contractor is required to follow the state guidelines for stormwater quality and sediment erosion control. A third-party inspector is hired by the town, so they report to the town. So they will be overseeing the job. Let's So. There'll be water handling implemented, to complete work behind confinement, there will be sediment erosion control. Fence, so there's exclusionary fencing on this project, due to, see the next slide is that there's some, protected species found on site. And so this, you can see the hooks, you look real close. Let's see if you can see. But in the corners of sediment erosion control, they kind of hook back around, and that's to exclude the species of concern from getting back into the site. There'll be a sweep before construction started by a qualified herpetologist to remove species, and that way they can't get back in. There's also a reptile mitigation plan that was included in the packet too, that was part of deep approval. So they removed the superstructure. Prior to removing that, they installed a debris shield that hangs below the superstructure so that sediment debris does not fall into the river. Temporary water handling coffer dams will be installed at each abutment for dewatering and soil retention. Pumping will occur in an appropriate filtration basin. Minimum channel passage for fish will be provided as coordinated with fisheries. Just noted on the permit plans. Any stream bed, as we talked about, excavated will be stockpiled and reused to maintain the riverine characteristics. And after construction, all disturbed areas will be stabilized and restored with graft turf establishment where appropriate. So it's a lot of natural resource coordination with Deep Army Corps. We have to discuss all potential species that will be impacted. So the fisheries have approved the permit plans. There will be a time of year restriction for unconfined work, and that's between June 1st and September 30th. So the contractor, so between June 1st and September 30th, contractor could work in the stream without confinement, because that's outside of, the fisheries area, time of concern. The contractor is allowed to install the water handling coffer dam outside of that time, typically to allow the work to be completed behind confinement. So if they start in May, they can install that, and then all that work is completed behind confinement. Typically, they're not working unconfined, and the watering deep will be out on the site because of the species as well. So there'll be a lot of oversight on this project. So NDDB, the project is an NDDB area, so national diversity database, which is the state listed species. There were several identified turtle snakes and bats were certified, received a final determination for the project in September, basically stating that due to the precautions taken and that are in the contract and permit plans, that the project is accepted and approved. As we talked about, this reptile protection plan, qualified herpetologists will be on site during construction, and all the best management practices required have been incorporated into the plans. Same goes for the national federal species, which is U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. BNP has been incorporated for them as well. They're pretty similar. And kind of go hand in hand with the state species.
So that line that says the qualified herpetologist is on site during construction.
Yeah.
That whole time that the bridge is under construction, we've got a herpetologist on site.
Yeah. He'll be out probably, I think the plans state that they have to be on site during the period that is specific to these reptiles that are concerned. There's a reptile protection plan that read through that, and you can get I'm not an expert on that, but they are qualified. Yeah, they are.
Well, it talks, because we got the turtles, we got the snakes, we got the and each of them had a herpetologist requirement there, and they all say during construction, which is a long long period of time.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I don't expect them to be out there the entire time, but, they'll be there to conduct
That's
the
what the plan
sweeps.
says.
Yeah, I mean, the contract's gotta follow the plan, so. And then, there's an inspector to follow that as well. So we've also coordinated with State Historic Preservation Office or SHPO. And notice the fact was determined historic properties on site, and same with tribal. Or TIPO, the tribes have been notified, and we received a letter of no comment from the tribes. So, permitting for this project, we're here for the local in the wetlands. At state level, there is a flood management certification, DOT and DEEP that is in the final stages of approval. And federally, Army Corps is an Army Corps general permit, self-verification that will be completed once a contractor is selected, and that'll be approved before the contractor can start work. The project is slated to begin in the spring and be finished at the end of the year, so approximately November. And that's it, so open up to any more questions. Thank you.
So I guess you're looking back. So I'm looking back to what we did here as a commission during the last bridge. And, we decided it wasn't a significant activity. And that bothered me after that. And it had to do, Public Works was doing a bunch of stuff on the banks over there before the construction of the bridge started.
Which bridge are you talking about? Sorry.
What's that?
Are you talking about the Long Hill Bridge or a
Yep,
different bridge?
Or Bunker.
Bunker.
Bunker Hill.
Okay.
Yeah. And I, watched what was going on. I said, how could this not be a significant impact? Granted, we got everybody and his brother providing a lot of oversight and approval to this, but that's our job to make sure we got everything down. So I guess that's a concern of mine that we didn't do that last time. And I'm not hearing anything about what the Public Works thing is that's gonna be going on prior to and in support of you for whoever comes in to actually do the construction of the bridge. The bridge construction went very smoothly. We were all gung ho to get Public Works in, and when I saw what they were doing, I was surprised at the extent of their excavation along the banks, what they were doing there and all that stuff. And there's nobody here tonight to talk about any of that. That was just kind of extra stuff that got thrown in when we were doing the bridge. I don't know. I just, not the smartest guy in the world on this stuff. And I know the final product over there with the Bunker Hill Bridge looks great, but to me, I was always bothered by we didn't treat it as a significant impact. It's probably the biggest wetlands thing we've had going on in Andover in years, and I can't think of anything bigger. And we made Grimaldi go through the significant impact up there for putting his driveway in up to his house. So that's a little bit what bothers me, and the people that are gonna be doing that aren't the ones who were here for doing the Bunker Hill. So, all that experience and the lessons learned is gone. So that bothers me on the.
I think it's a Joe would be, or your designee. I think I read something that you would be on site, during active construction to kind of make sure.
Yeah,
There's minimal.
well, it's like that one where we check and, with Public Works, it was kind of coordination, I think it was coordination with the contractor that was awarded to figure out what. So you mapped it out, I'm trying to remember.
I think what they did was probably some clearing and grubbing ahead of
Yeah.
time, which is something they can, you know, get started early.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. They wanted to get started early. They wanted to, you know, get rolling on that right after, you know, we acted on that, in. And we're not hearing anything tonight about what that is that they might be thinking they want to do with this bridge. Maybe it's nothing, I don't know.
Oh, I think you did speak to that a little bit when I was talking about the image that you actually asked for clarification on the left side. And then went and showed the expansion on the right side. That's kind of what it was referring to. Unless I.
What is Public Works actually planning to do there? Yeah, that's,
That's the right.
we're in, you know, this isn't upland review area, this is
Yeah,
the real wetland stuff.
I mean, if it's something other than what's being presented tonight, then it would need another permit.
Yeah, so all of the work they do should be within the regulated areas that are shown as, you know, disturbed within the permit plans.
But shouldn't we know what they're gonna do? Shouldn't there be kind of like a presentation?
Well, they would have to follow, that's what you're saying, right? They would have to
Basically
follow that.
following the construction
Like-
plans, and whether it's
It's not
them or
like
the
this,
contractor that
yeah.
does it, there's
They
still
don't-
following the sequence.
Yeah,
of
they
the
don't get
project.
to do something else, cause they're different, like they have to, if they get asked to do the task, it has to be in accordance with this, if that's what you approve.
I can't speak
Yeah.
to the Bunker Hill one, cause I wasn't involved in that. I can just say from my background, this design is significantly better for the river, so whatever temporary impacts there are with construction, the constriction of the river right now is causing, like, just from an environmental perspective, so many problems. That I think in the long term, you know, it would definitely be not only just from a flooding transportation perspective improvement, but, you know, definitely from a stream habitat perspective, significant improvement. Yeah.
I think Public Works, I think it tries to get out there, you know, that's what they do on Bunker Hill, is to get out there and get the construction started early so that the project, you know, is finished earlier.
But they aren't under any of these time constraints that are in this permitting package?
They should be subject to the same constraints.
They still have to
Yeah,
follow
I'm
the
not-
plan set.
Yeah, they still have to follow
They can't
the-
deviate. The only thing that they can deviate is,
So,
water course and wing wall maintenance, which we approved the permit for them for 5 years of maintenance. So they could technically do that, so if they're grubbing out vegetation, that could be considered maintenance, just like, that follows that permit that, you know, that we approved 2 years ago or so. Just like,
Okay.
there's-
and
just
that
like
might,
there's a pipe that, you know, they wanted, there's stuff where they can excavate all that out, I guess it'd be the same thing. But they're not gonna be able to
Well,
haul.
that bridge doesn't appear to be smaller than a 24-inch diameter pipe.
Correct.
I don't think that this job has anything to do with that permit that we approved.
That's only for 24-inch pipe.
No, there were provisions for other stuff, for clearing of vegetation, it
Clearing,
was
I was
replacement of.
Yep.
Pipes for 24 inches,
Okay.
so,
Again, that bridge bigger than 24 inches,
yeah,
and we replaced it.
So there was no wetlands permit for that project, is that what you're saying, or?
I had no idea. I wasn't smart enough at the time. You know, I knew everybody had signed off on it. I just didn't think we executed our responsibilities. And by doing that, we learn a lot. We're not gonna learn by not processing permits and applications.
Mm.
And I thought it was a significant activity. Doesn't mean we have to make it a lot harder. But, if we're gonna tell Grimaldi he can't put his driveway across the wetland down there with, stuff, we ought to hold the town to a standard that when we're replacing a bridge, we look at it and maybe view it as a significant activity. I don't wanna make it hard just to make it hard, but I think that we need to be, you know, a little more consistent.
I think the thing what I was talking about last time was that, like, the bridge is existing currently.
Yep.
And then we're just replacing an existing structure with, like you said, something that's significantly better. So it's basically like a temporary, like most of the impacts are temporary. But we're not, like, if we were building a bridge, that there was no bridge there before, that would be, to me, that would fall under significant impact, like we'd wanna get as much input as we could. But the fact that it's there and it needs replacement, it's kind of, like, what are the alternatives? What are the feasible and prudent alternatives to? I mean, you could just let it fall into the river or delete it entirely, like it has, I mean,
Something is.
like really. Like,
I think the difference too is like, this isn't the first time we're hearing about the project, it's gone through numerous permitting.
Approval.
Yeah,
right.
that I think have addressed some of those concerns that otherwise, I totally agree with you, like if this was the first point in the permitting process, then I think it would be appropriate, to bring it to public hearing and such, but from what I read and what I heard, I think most of the, there's already a plan in place for any wildlife impacts, either terrestrial or aquatic. I think the net impact to the wetlands is pretty minor, it's like square feet, if I remember,
15.
yeah, like postage stamp. So yeah, I understand your perspective and I certainly can appreciate
But I
that.
think it's a good point, like what you're saying, we're replacing an existing versus
new,
putting something
yeah.
brand new that we don't know what's gonna happen with.
Concerned that Hank Bruner
He's,
provided input on this.
he's on he's the herpetologist on the
Okay.
board.
He's the
Druid, yeah.
He's the one, he was at the Bunker Hill project.
Yep.
Doing that one, he's doing this one too, right?
Okay,
Could
So-
there be opportunity to meet with Public Works before any activity starts?
There should be a pre-construction meeting, right?
Yeah,
That's part of yeah.
and who from the town will be overseeing this?
Well, and so it was Eric
Yep.
got most of the information. I would visit periodically to check erosion control and, that stuff, and then Hank was over there quite a bit. From what I heard from bridge people there. But yeah, I think
Scott
Eric
was
was
over there
the
quite a bit.
primary.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but somebody's gotta be, we talked about this guy doing oversight. Reporting to the town. I'm just curious who that person is that's gonna be taking on that responsibility.
So it's a consultant, inspector, so as part of the contract, it's required that a consultant inspector is hired in there. They report to the town, so it's separate from the contractor.
Yeah.
So, it's done as backup for the town to have that level of confidence that they're directing the,
So it's like a
It's
third party, it's
it's a
independent.
third party
Okay.
inspector, yes, yeah. And I don't think they've been hired yet, but they will be, before the project starts. There's a selection process.
They're supposed to look out for the best interests of the town.
Right.
Anyway. And I think they have the authority to stop the job if it's not going according to plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have they replaced Eric yet?
What's that?
Have they
We've
replaced?
got a temporary guy
Yeah.
who's been hired for 6 months. While we find somebody new.
Jim.
By
Yeah,
knocking on
yeah.
doors.
Hmm,
By knocking on doors.
oh, really? Yeah.
But I think to your point, so with the Bunker Hill one, did the Public Works activity, was that under the oversight of the contractor that was, and you may not know the answer, but I'm just curious if you do, was it under the oversight of the contractor that was hired for the larger job, or was it kind of preparatory work done separate from that contract under the oversight of the town directly?
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
Which one?
The town directly, and then, or maybe
Yeah, that
that,
was Eric and Jay,
yeah,
neither of which are here.
Here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's somewhat more visible location than Bunker Hill, it has that advantage too.
Jay, are you concerned with Public Works doing more damage to the wetlands than
Yeah,
what we're supposed
but
to?
yeah, that, you know, they were in there. You know, I didn't get over there to see a lot of what was going on. But I heard from some other guys who were over there that was very extensive. And we didn't get any visibility on what was actually gonna happen. You know, we got this idea that we're gonna replace this bridge and it's all very locally confined. And over on Bunker Hill, it wasn't that way. We were expanded, you know, way out to clear the sides, maybe, you know, I don't know what we did over there. I haven't really gone to look, but it seemed to be separate from the contract to build the bridge. They were kind of two different things. And we're not hearing anything from Public Works tonight. We've got a new team, you know. I was hoping that somebody from Public Works would be here to tell us what they're gonna do and what precautions they're gonna take so that they don't do damage to the wetlands over there. That, you know, that's,
Well, they should follow this, whoever does it. Whether it's Public Works or whether it's even been decided yet.
Cause I guess technically if they don't follow this, they can't work within the wetlands without coming in front of us anyway, and if they don't follow the wetlands, then we don't.
is there, I didn't see any of the pictures or drawings that described anything where remediation of the banks or something else will be going on, you know, how far away from the bridge wing walls this work is gonna be happening.
I'm not sure if there's remediation of the bank, because you're essentially removing material, so. I don't know if there's really remediation to be done, my understanding is you're kind of like cutting out the sides and then installing new sides essentially, so. I wouldn't think there's really too much to remediate beyond any impact from the activity of the machinery to conduct that work.
This is a different type of bridge, that one was a little more involved, cause he had the culvert, it was like 3
Yeah.
steel culverts, and then they're filled with fill, so you had to basically dig all that stuff out of the stream.
Yeah.
Just for,
Okay, well, nobody cares, I guess, you
That's
That-
what we don't care.
know.
Well, we certainly don't want them just pulling up on the wetlands and with their digger.
Well, I think that's what happened last time.
I think that's what you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like you're saying. A little bit more. Monitoring or,
It always happens that way, no matter which, any of these jobs you go look at, what you see is not what you think you're gonna see. When you get the little brief on what's gonna be going on down there. You know, it's kind of like. One of my favorites is we get a drawing that shows the extent of clearing for a building site. And what happens is they go out and they clear everything, and then they put little ribbons around the trees
Right.
on the outer perimeter to show the extent of clearing that was marked off before they started to
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to hope that we do better. And we got a less experienced team. We didn't have a team that went
Right.
through that. I don't know,
and so.
never met the Public Works guy. No, we lost him. We lost the, you know, the number 2 guy
Yeah.
in the department over there. Kind of like no way to know what they're gonna do.
Do you have
And
any,
who's gonna be
the police, I mean, that's
Yeah, if that's gonna be Jim, the new,
right,
you know, town administrator, who will be done in May.
yeah, kind of,
Well, I don't know that, you know,
and also there's gonna be heavy oversight from deep, I mean, and honestly, they could probably do more than I think we could do.
okay, yeah.
So, based on,
Joe, you're gonna be down there, right, during the project periodically?
yeah,
I mean, you.
and if you saw something.
Yeah, if you saw something,
Out of,
obviously.
out of spec or whatever,
yeah, and I can get with Public Works beforehand, and we can
I think
make
it's a
sure.
reasonable
flag.
question to say, who's in charge?
yes, sure. Right, cause we're all sitting here. and we
Yeah.
answer that question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if we don't, well, anybody else, it's gonna be Joe.
We have to look at like the permit that we grant, and then we kind of put on our wetlands hat and focus on the things that we can control there. So yeah, like limits of clearing, whether things flagged and
Okay.
like we could
So
have
how far away from
jurisdiction.
that bridge do I see Public Works with the tractor before I get concerned?
Well, they can't
It's
go
gonna be
down
in
that
accordance
slope.
with the-
That's too steep, the closest one, they can't go down the public works slope essentially, because that's really straight shot down in that area.
Yeah, the other side's pretty steep too.
Well, that's why I was gonna ask, do you have any sense for the size of equipment that would be required to implement this and what approach they would take?
There'll be some pretty big equipment, there'll be
If-
excavators and cranes.
if we were-
Bringing some.
If we were
concrete.
having a guy build a house, we would make him show us where he's gonna refuel that tractor. Yeah. All that stuff, so we're not, discharging stuff into the wetlands.
And all of that has to be submitted by the contractor before they start. That's difference in these bigger projects is that contractors, not on until after a permitting has to be approved before design is really complete, and then the contractor takes it, and then they have to submit their own contractor drawings to the engineer.
Has this
approval,
gone out to bid yet?
Or to the town.
In the engineer's view,
He said it
It
was.
is,
Just-
but I don't, yeah. I think we get involved at that point. They either submit to the town or to the consultant inspection team. But we do see some stuff after construction, if it's. I don't know. Permitting or hydraulics related affects that, yeah. Yeah,
So, yeah, I would definitely wanna know, like, and this may not be a question you can answer today, and it might be part of that process. But storage of any material that's taken out, I don't love the idea of using the ball field parking lot, just because that's the town's only recreational field, and that's key recreation season, if you will. So I
Yeah.
think that's gonna upset a lot of folks. It may be somewhat inevitable at the same time because of just the
Yeah.
landscape out there.
it has to be approved by the town, so
Yeah.
it'll go through the town to. Because there's two sides, because it's gonna be, they'll probably use Public Works in order from the south side. The north side, they've gotta, find a spot and so.
Yeah, and I don't have a clear understanding of this, the property ownership, the downstream side. Oh, that's true, there's the
Yeah,
church.
so the church on the
Downstream side
corner.
is all woodlands. So there's,
But is it private? So if you're facing downstream on the left bank, is that private land at that point? Downstream of the bridge,
on the left side.
so basically like the top
It's
right of
the
that.
church down to the water, right?
Yeah,
Joe?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it is the church.
That was
that owns
the other
the-
issue.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, down that side,
I don't know what's on the other side.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be private property.
It might be private, yeah.
Has the church weighed in on this?
I don't think, I don't know
So-
anything at the church.
If there's any right of way affected, then the property owners are contacted by DOT, so the DOT has its own right of way office, but I don't think this is the right of way line for this property, and there's no impacts below that, so. There was a public information meeting that was held 2 years ago, 3 years ago, so all butters are contacted, plus they usually go further, and everyone gets the notice in the mail to. And it goes on the town website and the DOT website, and so basically go through this at the very early stages to get input. And basically conceptual or pre-design. To get any input from the public and stakeholders. So that can be included in the project early on.
Can I ask a question that it doesn't have anything to do with wetlands, but, so the road's closed.
Yep.
So the people that normally would have come up from Route 6 to get to the ball fields, let's say, can't.
Right.
we're gonna have a light on Hendy so we can monitor traffic.
Yes,
Yeah.
Eric promised me that that had been approved,
It did.
yes.
Okay, I heard some, but I hadn't
Unfortunately,
heard.
also said it was definitely gonna be temporary.
Yes, I have, oh, yeah, that's what I heard, Shannon. It was just gonna be temporary, but it did get approved for this project.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
so we're
Okay.
changing out. Yeah, so all traffic would be routed.
Yeah, because otherwise,
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
I guess more than I do. You know, the traffic.
we have to make that.
Yeah,
left
so
turn
we,
on
it's
Tuesday.
this area, so, you know,
Yeah.
that's,
So it'll be
Oh, yeah.
a brief but joyous period.
Yeah,
That's Bunker Hill was even worse in some ways.
yeah,
Some-
yeah.
yeah.
So we actually can't make any decisions tonight, right,
We should accept it from a issue.
do we want, I mean, I don't think they'll be able to answer any questions, do you want to request DPH at the next meeting, or?
Or do you want to do a sidewalk with them?
Hey.
Good, that might be nice.
Here's an idea.
Like that, maybe?
If maybe Hank's available, because I'm sure he has a pretty good understanding of the site of this.
Yeah, get new public works guy to just show us what he's gonna do.
Sure.
Well, I guess that's not a sidewalk. Sidewalk is,
No, that's just a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just, this is,
that's something different.
It's more of a pre-construction meeting.
We could do it here, or we could do it, I mean, just have them show us pictures of whatever we think.
I don't know. We're being asked to approve this thing and, you know, it's a lot of questions. Maybe that's the way it is on big projects or something. And it may be, I'm not smart enough to figure out what this plan is telling me. I'll give it another shot, try to figure it out, but I certainly I thought there was a little disconnect between public works and the plan last time around.
And now you're probably, like you said, you're more concerned because there's only people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could set up a meeting or something and.
Well, we can ask him to show up at the next, in the wetlands meeting.
Sure, before we approve them, actually approve it.
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I could ask him to come and then probably develop some kind of like a condition,
Sure.
draft a condition, construction meeting and then mark your limits of clearing if they're participating in it.
Sure. Do you prefer to be there for Greg for anything for that or not? What's that? Do you prefer to be there for the meeting with DPW or? I don't think you guys.
At the next meeting
Well,
here.
that would be, yeah, that would be
Oh yeah, you would have to be here anyway.
the January meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we could put something up with DPW then.
And people can attend virtually, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm more, you know, hydraulics and environmental construction guy, project engineer, get him. To attend as well to answer the more construction related questions as well.
Yeah,
What do you think, Jeff? Sounds good?
Sounds good. Cool. Better than what we have right now.
Yeah. Anybody have any other discussion for it? No? Alright. So we'll accept the permit application. And we'll decide on it next meeting.
I have one question. It's hopefully a simple one, it's kind of like along the nothing to do with wetlands line, but, you had made a few references to no sidewalk, is the new bridge gonna have a sidewalk?
Yes. It'll connect
Just on
from,
that one side.
yep, connect from where it terminates at Public Works to the ball fields.
Okay, that's what I.
Yeah, I think
assumed.
that's a nice
Yeah.
addition.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now I'm done,
Alright. Sounds good to me.
thank you.
This one's important to me too. I'm pretty local.
Hopefully not on the long hill.
Yeah. But hey.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming out.
Is it the first Monday?
it'll be first,
Tuesday.
probably first Tuesday. But
Tuesday,
Monday is,
Tuesday the sixth, January
yeah,
sixth.
okay.
should have some more.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next permit application, IWWC 25-16, Eric Johansson, Town of Andover, DPW, application for renewal of existing IWWC 23-01. General permit for work in and around various drainage systems in Andover. Permit will expire March 6, 2026.
Yeah, so this
This is what we did a couple of years. ago,
yeah,
Right?
it's basically a renewal of that one. We had talked about it. I talked about it with, Mark Williams when he was like the acting director. And then I hired Eric, so I sent him an email saying like, hey, this expires March 6th. You should put something in before January. So he just went and filled one out and, so yeah, so now we could discuss it.
Has there been any issues?
There,
Well, so I would like to ask the question, would the commission seen come to the commission over the last 3 years? Nothing.
Nothing.
yeah,
So-
there's been stuff. I know, I have shown pictures. Yes, there was, Bear Swamp, there was one on, Cone Road, I think.
From the
There's
town?
been a
Okay,
few,
so
it
there's
hasn't
a
been a
couple of
lot,
things that
but you have,
came to your level.
you have seen them.
Yeah, they came to your level.
But
If they didn't,
isn't that the point of the permit too, though, is that it's.
It is.
It doesn't come.
it is,
Right.
but it, you know, my question is, are we seeing what we should be seeing to execute our responsibilities? And I'll go back to the Bunker Hill Bridge. I'm not sure that that's the case, and I went trying to, so
Was that permit used to authorize the Bunker Hill work, or?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, that wasn't,
Should,
There was
that was part of the bridge approval.
just
Part of
like,
the project,
just
yeah.
like it is on this approval, and I don't know what it is.
'Cause I don't-
That's,
I don't know if this
yeah,
is.
yeah, I think that's your concern. You don't know if there's extra.
I don't know if this is the second or third iteration of this.
This is second.
Okay, I was saying, so I was here for the first, when this first came to be, because it was, I remember the discussion being like, do we have to come to you every time we wanna like
Yeah.
clear out a storm?
That's still great.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so what I was trying to do
Mhm.
today to get ready for this discussion was I was going back to in 2022, we did a bunch of work over on Shoddy Mill Road.
Okay.
And I think it was either, I don't think we did a public hearing on it.
Yeah, there was.
We did?
Yeah,
Okay, so I remember this guy talking. And he said, the water comes running down the road into my property and I get it turned into a lake. And went to Jay and said, well, what about that? And even though it was in the package there, he said, oh, we're not ready to do that yet. That's gonna be next year. And we heard nothing about it. I have no idea whether the guy's happy, unhappy.
it never got done.
Okay, so the guy's still unhappy.
That was actually, that was pre-general permit.
Yeah,
We had discussed it because, it was off of Birch Drive, I think.
well, yeah, a
And what-
lot of Birch Drive plenty, but it was,
Yeah.
Whale Road, Shoddy Mill.
Well, he was gonna capture the water that flowed, cause it kind of split, there was
Yeah.
like, it comes down, goes across Birch Drive, went through this guy's backyard and down like the backside of the hill.
Okay,
And then there was another, the one that they did that ran down Shoddy Mill.
Yeah.
Where they like put it back off the road. But I had told Jay at the time that that's kind of like the purpose of the Wetlands Act is to not dry things out, not divert water courses like that, since you're like there was like the water naturally flows that way, if you wanted to bottle it up and send it this way, that like I was like, it's not really something that you wanna see. Because you're like basically like drying out the side of the
Yeah.
hill and moving it over
Okay.
here. So that's kind of why I was like, that's not a general permit thing, that's probably gonna be a much bigger project than you think it would be.
that does my heart good to hear that, because, as far as I knew, everything was already done and we never got any
No, that was
visibility
never-
onto it at
That
all.
never,
There's a lot of difference. for instance, the permit allows us to clean the leaves and the debris out of a plunge pool. And I know you were down looking at the one next to Grimaldi's driveway the other day.
Mhm.
And, I looked at that thing, and I said, wow, well, we haven't done any maintenance on this. Because it's all full of crap. And, but anyhow,
That's kind of,
I just don't have a sense on,
I haven't seen a lot of the general permit stuff, because we've had so much turnover lately. I think they haven't really been doing a lot of that
Okay.
extra maintenance stuff lately.
yeah, cause I thought the thing was okay. I was just thinking there were probably some jobs going on.
It
That,
really, it hasn't been, because
Where-
they've been kind of just doing the bare minimum while they're trying to get
Yeah.
staff. So
Okay.
now that he's here, he was looking at it, and I asked him to, if he had any questions or anything he wanted to add or change, and no, this is great, Cause he came from Coventry, they've been trying to do a similar thing for years.
Yeah.
They haven't quite worked out what they wanted to do yet, so.
So.
okay, so maybe there is no big jobs that have been done over the last
Not that I'm
couple
aware
of
of.
years. Yeah, no, the only one I could think of was the Shoddy Mill Road thing that, I was wondering how it got resolved and,
Yeah. No, that was definitely, I discouraged that, because it would be much more extensive, project to
Okay.
to kind of reroute that.
yep, that was my thinking at the time. I said, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And the neighbor is complaining down there. We keep flooding out his property. And it bothers me now that we haven't fixed it. It's been 3 years since, we were down there working those things and we haven't done anything about it.
Is the flooding a result of the stormwater management design?
That's smart enough to know.
Okay,
All I know is
It was that was pre,
we were gonna move some further down the road to catch the rain or something to keep it from, running right across, the pipe goes right across the road into his yard or something. I'm sure, it was 3 years ago, I don't recall. I just remember the guy coming here, he was upset, and, I think it's as big an issue as any. I certainly have lived it a bunch over at the gravel pit on trying to manage, water runoff and to adjacent properties and making sure that we're, doing that okay. So, I felt that guy's pain and didn't know why we're not hearing about the solution to it. But if we haven't done anything, I guess that's why we haven't heard.
so in your experience, Joe, would Public Works come to you to check if they thought it was something more than just like standard culvert maintenance? Okay.
it would be, that and I kind of try to, so the bigger stuff, I would try to take before or after pictures too, so they would let me know, like, hey, we're planning on doing this at Bear Swamp Brook, and, gonna work on it next week or something, so I'll go out and snap some before pictures, and then they do it and go out there again.
Do you have any concerns with reissuing the permit as it was? It looked like it was gonna be exactly the same.
Yeah, that's all I was wondering was if anybody had any different ideas or wanted to change anything, and the new guy, he didn't really have anything to add. He was gonna come. I think he was thinking of coming next month, so
Let's say maybe we could discuss both of them.
he'll be, if he's gonna have to be here for the bridge, then it'll work out good.
Wasn't the only thing when we did it, at first you guys talked about doing it for 5 years and then went to 2 or 3, so I mean. Is that part of the conversation? Do you wanna do it
You
for
can,
5 years, or do you wanna just do it for?
you can keep extending it, I think up to 10 years total, so. I don't know how it would do, I mean, when you get to that point. So we have, what, 7 more years of extension, so you could do like another 3 years, you could do 2, you could do 5,
So it's really a permanent extension that
Yeah.
we're approving, okay.
Yeah, especially if we're not changing anything. And the current one expires in March, so we have. I forget when. We got until, February 3rd, which is. would be the meeting date, I think, right? Yeah.
Mhm. I was just wondering if, you know, if that was one of the things you were looking.
Do you need us to make a motion to ask, I don't remember what we just did for, for the previous agenda item to ask someone from DPW to be here to discuss or,
Yeah, I can tell him he's,
okay,
Gotta be here.
yeah.
We can discuss all those things.
yeah,
Okay, so we'll accept the permit application IWWC 25-16. And we will table for discussion at the next meeting. Agent enforcement and report actions, approval of permit application IWWC 25-14. Chris. I don't know how you say the last name.
so Tyler,
To Tyler. 322 Lake Road, abandoning existing septic tank, moving existing leach fields and installing a new tank line and leach fields in accordance with the septic system repair proposal dated 10/13/25. Work is within the 200-foot upland review area of annual.
yep, that one's, when was it done? It was like in November, I think, did that. So the bigger thing is just hopefully the grass will grow. I went over there to look and the homeowner was there. Kind of told him to keep an eye, they have all the silt fence and the hay bale still in place. Cause yeah, it's likely that it'll just be kind of dirt until spring, so,
They seeded it already.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's kind of late.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep an eye on that to make sure. Not too many erosion problems, but it was kind of one of those, like the. Thing like barely fit in a lot, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but.
There wasn't
the
much,
only option.
wasn't much room for anything. So yeah, so that one, there was another one that came in after. The agenda is 280 Route 6. That was actually, I think I probably brought that up in a. Previous meeting, that was a. Violation, they clear cut the area without a permit and.
Oh, that's the one in that corner.
Yeah. And I met with him and we. Decided to do plantings in the upland review area to kind of. Make a barrier, so it's like a natural, you know, like a plant. Pine trees and then let the rest of it grow in, so.
They clear cut in the wetlands.
Huh?
They clear cut in the wetlands.
No, no, upland review area, yeah. But. So yeah, so he finally got, cause we had to work with zoning and stuff, and so he finally got his application together for that, so. That's online if you want him to take a look, but it has the plantings there and everything.
The application is to zoning or to run?
So well,
Oh.
for work in the upland review area,
So you'll be approving that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Which house is that?
280 Route 6, so it's Scott Person's house, it's like right across the street from that. There was an old subdivision, like a 3-lot subdivision, and this is the last one, it's like closest to the road. You can see it good if you're heading west from here.
Are they
You can
building?
see it.
I mean, it is,
It's clear. They
yeah, I
cleared
know it's clear, but I
somewhere.
mean.
Well, he's gotta get through there, he's trying to do a multifamily thing, so he needs. Permit from zoning. So he's gotta do that, but he's gotta get the wetlands approval first, yeah,
Is it zone residential? or-
business.
So how does the new law come into play there?
Say it, what's the question?
This is not really a wetlands topic, but the new state law that was passed. That I have a very rudimentary understanding of, seemed to read as though. If it's a proposal for affordable housing, which I think a multifamily unit would fall under in a commercially zoned lot. It can basically kind of just overrule local zoning and get approved.
So the issue on that particular lot is back when the subdivision was created. And again, records are very sketchy. But a subdivision was approved in a business zone which is contrary to our regulations.
Hmm.
But it was approved nonetheless. Why it was approved, can't figure that part out. I think it was approved in error, but anyhow, it's an approved lot. Even if it's in the business, which, you know, our regulations today say, you know, you can't do that, unless there's no other viable use for the property essentially, and, so, they've got a right to build, it's approved subdivision lot. Shouldn't have been probably, but I can't speak to that. If it were to come to us today for a subdivision, we would disapprove it because it's not allowed.
Yep, so what else did I have? Oh, a couple other things. I had, complaint from 135 Shotty Mill Road. And I took by, it's like right before the transfer station. It's actually similar to the one with the church. I think it was like a tree company that was dumping wood chips over the side of a hill. And there's a brook down on the bottom of the ravine and stuff. It doesn't look like anything's gotten into the brook. But I sent him a letter, it got mailed out today, actually. So,
The owner of the property is doing
Yeah.
the dumping, or?
I don't know, I'm not sure. He had a tree service truck there, so I'm assuming
He
it
worked,
was
I
like,
think he worked for a tree service.
yeah.
So he got to bring the equipment home, let his kids ride around on it. It's kind of weird.
What are we gonna do with these chips anyways? Yeah, I don't know, and then another thing, talked to Jed a little bit about it, but we took the archived applications off of the website for now, because we were getting these scams. It's been going around in Massachusetts and Connecticut lately, where they'll use like AI to harvest information from like public hearings and anything that's online. They put these like really detailed fee requests, so somebody will go through a public hearing and then they'll email them from like andoverct.usa.com, and it'll be like the one had Wayne, the zoning agent's name on it, and it had all these different things that they had to do, and it's really specific because they have information like, oh, based on this plan revision, and it's like the one that's on file, you can file this, and it's like they ask for $4,800. I think that's like the common thing.
Wow.
Which I think if they lowered that, it'd probably be more convincing, but
I said, don't know Andover, well,
yeah, but they're, you know, we kind of tried to, because we got a few of them like 2 of them last week and then 1 this week, so we had to kind of try to figure out what to do.
like people coming to you complaining, or they were.
They
directly
received
sent-
those from, you know.
But did they realize they were scammed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, yeah. But so we talked to the trooper, we talked to Jim, the interim manager, and for our applications, I redacted the email addresses, because I thought that was like the main point of contact, so.
Oh, I did notice that, okay, that
Yeah.
explains that, because I was curious about that.
So I was gonna do that with all of them going forward, and then I was gonna go back and do that with the archive ones and put them back up. We just kind of like hid the page for now, so.
Is there a way to put a notice out to the town? I know not all applicants are necessarily town residents. but-
Yeah, I put one on our website. Like when you go on the wetlands page, it's right there. And then we're gonna talk to Roberta, and she was gonna do something with the alert, that little text message, phone call thing.
I
for-
have mixed reviews on that, I think I get some of them, but it seems like it's not consistent, people
Yeah.
getting
Hmm.
alerts. The community newsletter might be another one to just put kind of a note in.
Yeah, Facebook pages,
Yeah.
whatever, she was talking
Yeah,
about some of
anything that-
those. But you figure if enough people know about it, then maybe they can, you know, somebody's like, oh, the town's trying to charge, oh, that's a scam, you know, and then, you know, hopefully. It'll get more common.
And I think you're right, I mean, if they're asking for $4,000, most people,
Yeah.
if they, you know, get a bill of that size that they're not expecting.
Yeah.
I would certainly call,
I know if they did $50, it would be more.
Yeah. But then they would probably pay it, and then they would probably you'd probably never
Oh,
even
right,
know, and they would, you know.
But that's what I'm saying, the scammers would make out better if they
Yeah.
lowered the price.
So yeah, so there's that, so hopefully I can get the archive ones back up, cause it's nice to be able to review the old. Stuff, so. We work
I was
on it.
hoping you weren't gonna say, oh, it's been down for 2 years now. How come you didn't notice until now? No.
No, you noticed right away.
Okay, yeah.
Jesus,
So I do, yeah.
yeah,
Do we have an archiving policy? Like, I mean, at some point, we probably don't wanna keep things.
yeah, there hasn't been anything.
So
It just
before
got-
you remove stuff, like what was the oldest?
It's basically been since I started here. It's just, we put them online and then it just kind of kept going.
I think 2023 or so was probably the first that we started doing that.
It was earlier than that,
Actually-
I think it was like 21 or 20 or.
Yeah. Cause the gravel pits out there, we've been wrestling with that for a long time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know I stepped down in the middle of the pandemic. And I think we were doing it before that. Amanda had started at Gibson. But anyway, it might be something to think about, like, do we want, I know this dated 7 years. Seems arbitrary, but 7
Yeah.
years, things are less to, be.
Yeah, cause there's still. On the, there's a shared building department file, the one I tried to send you, but it's like, it wouldn't. I don't know, cause it's a Microsoft thing and
Yeah.
it wasn't compatible or something, but they're all. Like everything that's on the website is on there and in the paper folder, so.
I mean, I don't know if we're still pursuing the new town website or website revamp, but that might be a time to think about it too, especially if we're moving to a new system, what do we want to transfer versus
Mhm.
declare, outdated, but,
Yeah, figure out some other way to store
yeah, discussion for another day. We're fully staffed again.
it, yeah.
You heard anything yet from the Rockefellers on what they're gonna do on Lake Road or Lakeside Drive rather?
Not yet,
Okay,
I don't know if they're waiting after the holidays or if they're getting somebody to work on it, I know we were talking. Cause we have to do the nutrient allocation.
yep,
And we're trying to. There's a pipe that goes like directly into the lake, a drainage pipe. And we're trying to figure out a way to not have that anymore, so. I think that's gonna be like the hang up. And I was trying to get it so that whatever we do for the nutrient allocation worksheet is gonna be what's presented to wetlands, so I don't know. Might take a little while.
Are they expanding?
what's that?
Are they expanding?
So. They own 2 lots over there,
Okay.
and so they've got a little house next to them, they're planning on tearing down the little house.
Okay.
Expanding their house, and then putting a workshop over there on the other side of the garage,
Okay.
so.
I was saying, the main lot, 'cause the daughter is my son's age, so she went to that on bus trip. And I couldn't imagine doing too much more on that lot, but that makes
Yeah.
sense if there's another lot involved.
That little house is kind of close to the lake though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very close to Lake.
So maybe it's not a bad thing that that's being taken out of there. Do you know if he's gonna take it apart, and keep it, or?
Don't know, yeah,
You know, it's a beautiful little house,
it is.
nice lake house, it's just,
Yeah.
it's too bad you just couldn't pick it up and put it somewhere better.
they could like sell it for $1 or something. Move it.
Don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Work on that.
is there any further discussion for permit application for 25-14? No, nothing. Okay, can I get a motion to approve permit application 25-14?
Oh, that was
that's-
Already done.
Oh, we did,
Joe, that's Joe's approval.
Oh, you approved that, okay, right. That. So that's it, right?
yeah, that was the end of the report, I think.
Oh, okay, alright. So then the only thing is the other business proposal to move 2026 regular meeting dates, to the first Tuesday of every month. Review and update of bylaws to reflect change dates.
Are any of those dates show, moved because of holidays or anything, or is it straight, first Tuesday?
Unless I missed something, it was all the same, and like you said with the election day.
Yeah. you said that.
Wally had said that they should be over there by then, so we should have this room.
Okay,
Or vice versa, we could meet there.
Yeah, But I think they're trying to like move all their specialized network or something. They have to move like some secure network over there.
Yeah, and thank you all for considering. I find Mondays to just be generally problematic, but
I think it'll work better.
Yeah, I like Tuesday better.
Ease into the week.
yeah, Monday's a little jarring as it is, let alone adding a 7 o'clock meeting, but, I will make a motion to approve the 2026 regular meeting dates as proposed.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay. Motion passed. So the next regular meeting is gonna be Tuesday, January 6th, 2026 at 7 PM.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn is
We have a long meeting today.
very long.
Yeah, I know, especially compared to the.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't be able to break that. 4-minute record.
Yeah.
Is that 4 minutes?
4
It
minutes,
was,
yeah.
before that, I think it was 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we said I'll never break that.
Sorry, it's me.